Throughout his career, Kobe had a ton of revenge games. Games where he could suddenly drop 50 or 60 out of nowhere because he was enraged about something. And here's a classic example of what I mean. On the night of December 20th, 2005, the Dallas Mavericks, they just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. See, before this Mavs game took place, the Lakers had a tough little battle against the Rockets just 2 nights prior, and that game ended up going the distance and ended with this play.
Down the floor. McGrady on the drive. McGrady to the basket.
Basically, the Lakers lost at the buzzer, and of course, the Mamba wasn't happy about it. So for the next game, Kobe vowed revenge at the expense of the clueless and innocent Dallas Mavericks, and let's just say that it got ugly real quick.
His magic along the baseline.
Kobe 6 of 7. He's got 12 of the first 19. Kobe doesn't have the numbers, but boy, he's trying to make his own statement. On the reverse. Now Kobe for 3.
I don't believe it.
The Black Mamba went on a scoring rampage. Across just 3 quarters, Kobe dropped a staggering 62 points in just under 33 minutes of play. And what's even crazier is the fact that Kobe actually outscored the entire Mavericks, as they only tallied 61 points by the end of the 3rd frame. Right after the game, here's what Kobe said that triggered the entire thing. "I was so frustrated by the loss the other night that I was going to will us to victory. I was very angry. I felt like I wanted to come out and send a message that we're going to dominate at home. We're going to hit you. We're going to bring it to you. I wanted to send that message." Meanwhile, here's what Mavs coach Avery Johnson said about Kobe's insane performance. "We had no answer for him. We tried to double team him, zone him, trap him in the backcourt, and nothing worked. He had his way with us tonight." Sheesh. The Black Mamba really owned the Mavs right there. And aside from this, did you know that Kobe also destroyed the GOAT one time after MJ rubbed him the wrong way? Yeah, that's right. See, during the 2002-2003 season, Kobe was this 24-year-old electrifying young star, while the 40-year-old Jordan was already well on his way to ride into the sunset, playing his final season in the NBA. In their first matchup of the season, Jordan and the Wizards won by a hair against the Lakers. And immediately after the game, MJ went up to Kobe and said something like this: "Hey Kobe, you can wear the shoes, but never fill them." We all know how MJ can be so ruthless when it comes to talking trash. But regardless, if MJ was just playing with him when he said this, Kobe, the Black Mamba, took these words personally and vowed to seek revenge after MJ in their second and final meeting. Anyway, Gilbert Arenas has the inside scoop of this story, and here's what went down after that incident.
What happened next is, so I guess during that time after Kobe didn't say anything to anybody. So for like 2 weeks, they said Kobe was just mute. Like, he didn't talk to his players, didn't talk to his teammates. He said he was in like focus mode. Like, it was straight, like practice was just so intense, right? So the players were like, "Yo, is he mad at us? Like, did we do something to him?"
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, Phil was like, no. Jordan told him, when we played him, you can wear the shoes, but you can never fill them. And it was like, oh shit, when did we play them again? And it was like, yeah, we played them in a few days. Oh yeah, so I'm not even gonna stretch for that game, because young fella's not passing us the ball. And that's the game Kobe had like 55
points.
Yep, and just what Gil said, 55 points.
Buzzer, the Lakers lost at 198. Kobe from 27. 7 for 12 from the field as from Kobe again. Oh my! It's in his range. This week.
And on top of that, Kobe did it from almost anywhere on the floor. I mean, he shot 52% from the field. He went bonkers like Steph Curry from downtown by hitting 9 3-pointers, and he also punished them at the foul line by knocking down 16 points. This was clearly a passing of the torch kind of moment between MJ and Kobe, and I think we can all agree now that Kobe not only wore MJ's shoes, but filled them too. Anyway, guys, from dropping 62 on MJ, let's now talk about another game when Kobe absolutely owned the Trailblazers. The year was 2007, and during this time, the Lakers didn't really have a strong lineup to contend with. I mean, aside from Lamar Odom, the other starters were Sasha Vujacic, Smush Parker, and Kwame Brown. And as expected, the Lakers went through a rough patch with this kind of lineup, including a 7-game losing skid entering around mid-March. Now, losing a bunch of games, Kobe donned his red cape and said, enough is enough. Their next assignment happened to be against a star rookie, Brandon Roy, and the rest of the Blazers. It was a tight contest, and check this out. With about 20 seconds left in regulation, when the Lakers were down by 3, look at what the Mamba did.
Out of bounds. It'll belong to the Blazers. Now Kobe for the tie. Got it!
With that clutch basket, Kobe just tied the ball game to force overtime, and a few minutes later, the Black Mamba struck again to end the game for good. After the final buzzer had sounded, Kobe tallied 65 points, 24 of which came in the fourth alone, while also shooting at a ridiculous rate of 60% from the field, 66% from 3, and 91% from the free throw line. At the time, this was the 9th best game in NBA history, as per the game score statistic. Nate McMillan was coaching Portland at the time, and here's his detailed take on what happened that fateful night. I've seen it firsthand. He lit us up, and I remember he was shooting threes and just on fire, and we had him in a trap, deep corner. He had nowhere to go and should have passed the ball. He's facing his bench, and he just turns and shoots it, and it goes in. He really became like Michael Jordan in the sense that when you watched him play, could he do it again? Could he create that magic again in the fourth quarter? And he did. Anyway, just like the Blazers, the Utah Jazz also had a bad experience playing against Kobe. And even if it was his final game, the Black Mamba showed no mercy. On the night of April 13th, 2016, all the stars went out to see Kobe wear the purple and gold one last time. And when the spotlight shone the brightest, that's when the Mamba put on a show that everyone will never forget. You see, despite huffing and puffing really hard down the stretch, the 37-year-old Kobe kept firing as he delivered bucket after bucket. The Lakers were down 15 in the fourth, but Kobe wasn't about to let LA down on his final night.
Nice check. Bryant for 3. On the move with the jumper.
Clutch bucket after clutch bucket after clutch bucket. Hollywood's greatest directors couldn't have scripted a better finish than this. In his final game as a Laker, Kobe delivered the performance of a lifetime by scoring 60 points, 23 of which also came in the final frame. And honestly, this was a fairy tale ending, and probably the greatest last game of any superstar in NBA history. Anyway, Derek Favors was one of the Jazz players who sat out that night because of an injury. But according to him, seeing Kobe play from the sidelines for the final time turned out to be a surreal experience for him, and here's what he had to say about it. I was watching it as a fan. If I could have had my cell phone out there, I would have been taking pictures and video, all that stuff. I watched that game from a fan's perspective, and the things he was doing in the fourth quarter, we all knew was coming. As a team, we knew, sooner or later, that was going to happen. Now, from racking up 60 points in his farewell game, let's now talk about the time when he absolutely owned and single-handedly destroyed the Raptors. Okay, so when Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points against the New York Knicks back in March of 1962, the NBA world knew it would never see anything like it again. And while we may never see this record get broken, there was actually one time when it almost fell apart. You see, on the night of January 22nd, 2006, Kobe set the highest single-game scoring record in the modern era of the NBA against the Toronto Raptors. In that game, Kobe was completely out of his mind as he made all kinds of shots from literally every possible angle. And despite being down 18 points early in the third, Kobe willed the Lakers by scoring 55 in the second half alone to finish the game with 81 points. It wasn't like it was an inefficient 81 points either. I mean, The Black Mamba shot 28 of 46 from the field, 7 out of 13 from distance, and made 18 of his 20 free throw attempts. Kobe Bryant is a legend amongst legends. And here's one future legend talking about the Mamba.
You finally get to step on the court with them, you're like, this is crazy, man. You're like a god to all of us, you know? That's how I felt every time with Kobe. It's like, I know everything about your career. I remember when you won the dunk contest with between the legs, when you made the first All-Star game in '98 with Eddie Jones and them, like everything. And then like to be there, it's like, you don't want to be a fanboy, but you really are deep down.